Today I figured out what the Toyota Tacoma is desperately missing. It's got this big blank spot and I feel the need to fill it. So I'm gonna do it. First of all, let me show you what I'm talking about, and then I'd like you to leave a comment and let me know if you have any suggestions yourself. If you've noticed this big void on the side of the Tacoma and what you've done about it. So let's take a look. It's sitting out here on this cloudy, almost partly sunny day. And as you look at it, it looks a little bit unfinished. It looks desperate. Now, what I've got here in the front, of course, is the Highline front bumper. This is just the centerpiece bumper, as you can see, and it has this bar across the top, which I really like. And it ties in to the rear part of the Tacoma, which has the sport bar. This is the Black Horse Sport Bar. It is non-functional. That's why they call it a sport bar instead of a roll bar. If you were to roll over in this truck, you'd mash your lights and you'd mash that roll bar, sport bar as well. And then of course, we've got some blacked out taillights and then the blacked out caps on the back. Lends to a nice blacked out look on the truck, I think. But when you get to the side, this is where the Tacoma is let down. You see, for some reason, and it's like this in a lot of trucks, they don't finish off the pinch weld area. You can see right along the bottom, it's just kind of stops, and it's got these screws or whatever things hanging down, and then just a flat, unfinished looking piece. Now, that's never a problem if you go with side steps. And a lot of Tacomas come with the Predator side steps, which I think are a really good looking side step. However, they're not really very functional for me or for anybody because the step is too close to the paint on the truck. And if you get in and out and actually use those steps, which would normally be sitting about right here, you're gonna slam into the side of your truck every time with your shoe. And if you have those big work boots or whatever, you're going to scratch that up pretty quick. That's why I don't think they're very functional. They're just too close to the truck. I mean, if you're going to do it, you really need to have something more like what is on this Ford F-150 back here. If you look at these steps, and it's really a running board, I guess, there is a lot more room to put your foot without contacting the side of the truck once the doors open, of course. That's the way to go, I think, if you're looking for a truly functional side step or running board for your Toyota Tacoma. However, I'm not a big fan of those myself. I prefer, I guess, a sportier look. Now, the option for me, there's a couple. Recently, I put what I'll call a bar. They call it a Ruby bar or Ruby guard. I don't know what they call it, but it's on the side of my Jeep Wrangler here. What I've got is just this flat bar down here. And the whole point of that is really, it's supposed to be some kind of protection, I guess, but what it really does is hide that pinch weld along the whole side of the body there. Now, what my wife has on her Wrangler is a step like what you just saw on the F-150. Again, very functional. You can get your foot up there. Unless you're really careless, you're not going to slam the side of the truck, you know, the door sill area when you get in and out. But I'm just not a big fan of that look. So, what I'm thinking of doing is either some sort of a bar, like what we have on that Jeep Wrangler up there, or some kind of a slider, I guess. Something that kind of fastens on underneath and then tips up at an angle like so. Obviously, to slide along rocks or ruts or whatever to protect the side of the truck. My only issue in doing something like that is I don't want something that's real obtrusive, something that really sticks out of the sides. I don't really care for the look of that, nor do I want it to be in the way. Because the other thing I've noticed when you get in and out of the vehicle is the back of your pants slide down, it seems, whatever you have on the side there. And I don't really want that. I just think it would be in the way, and I'd constantly be wondering, why do I have all this dirt on the back of my pants? Well, it's because I slide in and out of the truck all the time. So I'm looking for something pretty close to the side of the truck, I guess, that's going to be very subtle. Not really concerned about the functionality of it, although I imagine if you go with a slider, it's probably going to be something that's designed to be a slider, right? Unlike what we have on the Wrangler up there. That is just a relatively thin, hollow tube that's really just designed to hide that pinch weld. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly fine because it does what it's designed to do. If you're looking for a functional slider, you probably bought the wrong thing. So what I'm asking from you folks is, what do you have on the side of your truck that's pretty subtle, that really kind of fits right up close to the side of the truck to keep it out of the way and hides that pinch weld? Also, I'd be curious to know how it's wearing. A lot of the bars and steps and things that you get in the aftermarket for vehicles tend to rust. I've had several steps. I've had a few on the Tacoma, a few on other vehicles, and some of them have rusted. I will say the Predator side steps were probably the best that I've had as far as quality goes. I never noticed any rust or paint chippage or anything like that. It's just too bad that they're too narrow to really be functional on the side of the truck. They're more for aesthetics. And I know some of you might be saying, well, why don't you just go with the Predator side steps then? Because they stick out just enough to be in the way, as I mentioned, and rub the back of your pants every time you get in and out of the truck. And if I'm being honest, I have a little bit of a fear of people actually trying to use them and scraping the bottom of their foot against that sill area. I can just see the scratches and stuff, and that would drive me nuts. I mean, imagine if you had stones or gravel or whatever stuck in the tread of your shoes, and then you scratch that across that sill area. I don't know, maybe I'm nuts, maybe I'm overthinking that, but nonetheless, it's in my brain and I can just see it happening. So leave a comment, let me know what you think. I'd be very curious to know if you have something that kind of fits what I'm looking for this truck. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.